Hello and welcome back to Minion Man Gaming. Today we'll be reviewing and building one of the cheapest custom TKL keyboards that you can build currently on the market. So far, right now we have our board with our PCB, we have our switches, and we have our mechanical keycaps, which are right here. I will try to do an in-depth review on every single one of these products. So we will first start off with the switches. So the person that I'm building this keyboard for wanted silver speed switches. They play a lot of games like Osu and like to get really fast and really clicky. Not clicky necessarily, but these are silver switches from Glorious. They are linear switches, which means that there's no tactile, they're not clicky. They are some of the lightest switches on the entire market with a 27 gram spring. They are very silent. To put in how light that 27 gram spring is, the next up would be a silver bronze at 42 grams. What that means is that you can hit the actuation distance and you can have a lot shorter of a travel time to hit your key. So right here included, we have 120 silver speed switches. Even though we're using a TKL, we'll have a bunch of extra switches left over just in case some of them break or we want to give them to some friends. So this bag here is priced at $36.99 and they are a 5-pin switch. So try to give you a sound test, but it's going to be quite hard if my camera would focus here, which it does not want to, but hopefully you could hear that. So these are the silver speed switches. They are very nice, built pretty good. These do look pretty easy to lube. I do have some Cryotox 205G0 here that I might be able to lube in a future video. You can easily just open these up with the switch opener, and then you could get straight to lubing. Next up, we have this thing. Now this is pretty amazing. So this is Glorious GMMK 10 key list bare bone edition, black aluminum body, full modular, RGB, LED, black light keyboard. So what does that all mean? So this is where your entire switches, your keycaps, everything sits inside. So you want to get a pretty high quality board or body, because if you don't, then everything else that you have might not sound as good, might not feel as good, and everything like that. So this comes in around $60, whether you get it to be a 60%, a full size, or a TKL. So now the person who wanted this wanted to be a TKL. Excuse me, let me just peel off the tape that is here. The packaging for the switches and for this board are actually quite nice. I mean, I like them. I would definitely put these on a shelf. Right? So you open up and you immediately see a Glorious modular mechanical keyboard. Let's get this out of the way. And you have this really nice cover to protect it, I guess, to save it from in the packaging when they ship it out through us. Inside here, we have some accessories for us. We have our switch puller, it looks like, some stands to put on the bottom of the board, and a USB Type-C to USB Type-A braided cable. It is pretty high quality. I have used this cable before. It's very nice. It's very long too. It has this little band here to, I guess, keep cable management. Let's say you're not using the entirety of the cable. On top of that, they do give you two switches. They're both used for escape, one being the Ascend switch and one being a Glorious switch. Now, what I really like about this, they also have your manuals, you also get some stickers, but I won't go too into that right now. What is really nice about this, now they keep this packaging, that's super nice. This looks very, very clean. I mean, just look at that. This is absolutely a beauty. And now, you might not be able to tell, but what is a really nice bonus with coming with this is that this keyboard is already foam modded. It already has some foam inside of it. I'm trying to get pretty close to it, but I don't think you'd be able to see it anyways. But this is how big a 10 keyless is. To keep in perspective, here's a 60% keyboard if I were to put it directly on top. What this means is you get your function buttons and you get your home page and your designated arrow keys. Pretty sure many of you would be familiar with a TKL or a 10 keyless keyboard, both the same thing. Now I have used the stabilizers before. They are pretty nice. They do come factory lubed, but I mean, I would maybe use some dyslexic grease or however you pronounce that and maybe redo them, maybe band-aid mod them. That'd just be something pretty fun. You do get another keycap holder attached to the back with some stands here that you can easily just put up so you can get that nice angle to type. But if you're gaming, I think most people like to have it flat, right? This also on the PCB, every single wherever you're putting the switch in, it is labeled. I don't know if you can see that. Does not look like. There you go. You can see that it says, like, here it says H, here it says J, here it says K, L. You know, it keeps going on, so that you're not confused when you're building this, especially if you're a first-time builder of a keyboard like this kind. It does have a USB detachable port, Type-C port, as I said, in the middle, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. Right, so it would come in here, and this would be pretty nice. Obviously, I don't have any power to this cable right here, but this is how it would look if you did plug it in here. It's very nice. And then we'll just quickly, before we start building, we will talk about these keycaps. So these are for, you get a full-size set. I think that's the only option that you have if you want to stick from Glorious. If you were to buy from such as Amazon or any other seller, you might be able to actually buy a TKL set. But the person who wanted this keyboard was really in favor of their keycaps and how they looked. Obviously, this is full size. These aren't the shine through. I think they wanted a full, you know, thing like this. If there was a packaging that I hated out of all these products, it would definitely be this one. It is very annoying to get to. The box itself was pretty bad, but I mean, we'll make it work. Currently, I am peeling off one of the stickers so that I can get to just the packaging. So, here it is. They give you this. It comes all organized. I'm going to try not to mess it all up. Oh. As you can see, I am struggling to open this. Finally, we are in. So, what is nice about these keycaps is you might not be able to see so well, but these keycaps have a dual layer caging. So right here, they have a dual layer caging. These are the MX stem, so you can put any MX stem plus switch on here. They are pretty strong. I do like the feel of them. They are ABS plastic, and they do allow for a lot of LED glow. Even though they're not shine through, you can see your LED for sure. Even though I feel, like at least me personally, I think the new trend is to rock your keycaps and your keyboard without any LED, but that is completely up to you. So, why don't we start to get building? So we're going to do every single switch and thing all together. So we're going to put in a switch, we're going to put in a keycap, and we're just going to continue. So total the switch is coming in at $36.99 with the keycaps coming in at $25. It seems as if this and then the board is at $60. It seems like that would be $121 plus shipping plus anything else that you would want. That is I would say a pretty cheap price for a foam modded already, lube stabilizers, keycaps, very nice switches. And by the way, you would never have to even switch. This thing is a 5-pin hot swap board, which I forgot to mention, which is a huge plus. of this kind of keyboard, right? Because what that means is that you can take any switch that you want, whether it be novelty. Wow, I forget the name. Oh, I have no idea what I'm saying. I'll have to think about that name again. I forget what name that is. Then you have like any switch that you can imagine. Lavenders, alpacas, all 5-pin switches. Which means you have a lot of customizability that you can do to do anything, right? And then obviously to make these things better, I am planning on lubing these switches. I have already began on a few of them. I'll try to give you a midway sound test. They do sound very nice. I do love this board. This board is so nice. I don't know what it is about. I mean, I do. It's just very high quality. I mean, I know that you can get like the GK61 PCB, and that's like also $60 from Amazon, and that is also very nice. And that's good for a 60%. But if you're looking for a full size or a 10 keyless or something like that, this board comes in at a very nice price, right? One thing I do not like about Glorious is that they did take a pretty long time to ship this keyboard out to me, but that's okay. I mean, we had a lot of snow in our area, so that might have been one of the reasons that we delayed. So, okay, I will see you guys all back when I am done all the keys. As we are coming down to the last final row here, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider leaving a subscribe and a like below. I mean, it takes only a small percentage of your time. It would be greatly appreciated here. As you can see in that time lapse, it's pretty simple. It's like playing with Legos. Now, you can get a lot complicated than this, right? And I'll explain that in a second here. But this part, it's like snapping in Legos. Any educated 4-year-old could easily do this, right? You just gotta make sure that you're not bending any of your pins on the back of your switches, right? You have your gold pin, a silver pin here, and the housing, right? So it just snaps into place. It can't go any other way. It is what they say, keyed, right? You cannot mess this up. I'm excited to give you guys a sound test here. We are down onto our last 2 keys. And there you have it. You have white keycaps on a glorious GMMK board with some silver speed switches. This is a $120 keyboard, probably one of the best value keyboards, right? And now you can get into customizability with getting different kind of keycaps, different switches, anything that you would want. But the board, you know, how this all pieces together is almost perfect. So let's plug in this bad boy, and wow, we have power. You might not be able to see it, it is pretty bright in this room, but let's give you guys a sound test. I will stop talking now. Now for a stabilizer test. The stabs on this, really good. I mean, they are greased. This is foam modded. Everything is pretty good. Now, you could step this up a notch by getting yourself a few of these things. So this is the best lube that you can get for linear switches. This is Cryotox 205G0. This is specifically from the Kibo store, right? For only $10, you get 3 ounces, or yeah, 3 ounces right here. On top of that, you also get this small little green brush, which definitely, if they don't make your switches sound better, which they do, they definitely make your switches feel better, right? The sound of that. And then just to open up, you get yourself a simple $10 switch puller, and you just pop in your switch here. You push this down, you open it, you have your bottom housing, the top housing, your spring in the middle, and the little stem. You lube the stems, the sides, and just put it all back together and pop it back in here. And you have an amazing sounding keyboard. Just take a look at this, by the way. The black board with the white keycaps, and it gives this flowing design. I know that my camera isn't focusing when I move it this much, but let me tell you, especially in person, maybe not as much on camera, this keyboard looks really nice, especially if you're in the market for TKL. I will try to leave a link in the description with all the things that you can buy here. Once again, thank you so much for coming back to Menu Man Gaming. I hope to see you next time.